BADEN, bonjour, and good morning to everybody. I'm about to leave for France. My channel should be called Welshman in a Bright Yellow 2010 Kia Picanto because I'm not taking the bike. I'm heading down to Newhaven to cross the channel to Dieppe, and I'm staying in an Airbnb in Newhaven overnight. I'm leaving dead early. It's only 20 past 9. I'm going to pop in and see my dad on the way down on the journey. I'm going to try and film this as if I was on the bike. I mean, everybody's seen lots of footage of bikes rolling along roads. I can do that in a car. What I'm trying to do is look at it from a motorcyclist aspect. So if you haven't been to France before, it's really aimed at you guys. You know, colours of road signs, things to look out for when you're over there. So I'll keep you posted. So in the meantime, I'm going to amble down to the southeast of England. It's a long old day. And just take my time over it. I'm hoping there's not too much in the way of traffic jams because it's the Thursday Jubilee bank holiday. So I think the RAC were predicting jams on the A303 past Stonehenge and on the M25, so I'm avoiding it. I'm actually leaving South Wales on the M4, going to leave the M4 then at Newbury, head down to Portsmouth and along the A27 towards Brighton and Peacehaven. Anyway folks, I shall catch you later. Excuse the candy statin there. You can see lots of white cliffs. We're not in Dover, but a similar part of the world. It's very nice down there. Wealthier than South Wales. There's yachts everywhere. Well, I had a good journey down yesterday. There was a crash on the M3 and I drove across the South Downs through West Meon where the big bikers meet, and then Petersfield, much nicer run. I'm now in the ferry port, queuing up. There's only one motorbike that I can see, and I heard the people speaking a language, couldn't pick up what it was, but it wasn't French. And a lot of the cars here are meant to have UK stickers on the back, and most of the British cars have no stickers identifying their nationality, which is quite unusual. There we are. I don't know if the gendarmerie pick up on it, but looking around at the cars, I can only see one car with a UK sticker on. Now, I'm about to check in at passport control, so I'll see you later. Well, we're all lined up now, just got to wait till 10 o'clock to get the ferry. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 bikes, and I'll show you that in a second, and they all seem to be, 3 out of the 4 are all foreign bikes, 1 is British. So it's fewer bikes than I'd normally see on a cross-channel ferry from Portsmouth, and I avoided being called in by security. Well, there they are, ready for their return home. Some ways I'm glad I didn't bring the bike. I'm missing it, but tomorrow morning the forecast is absolutely pants, so I'm going to be in the car nice and warm and dry. Well, morning everybody. It's Friday morning, it's 7 o'clock. I couldn't sleep last night in the hotel. That's just me, nothing wrong with the hotel. So I'm on the road heading down towards Brittany. Yesterday, things I learnt. Google Street shows these beautiful, straight, empty French roads. They weren't. They were full of cars. And with the Brexit fiasco, having to have your passport stamped, the customs officer asking every car and every person, what are you doing in France, how long are you staying for, and where you're going? It was ages to bloody clear. So I'm a bit of a natural planner, so I know where I should be to the minute. Well, that went a bit wrong. So I actually went on the motorways, that was my plan B. Cost me about a tenner. I avoided the Pont de Normandy. If you have a look on the map, that's near Le Havre. That's over €5 to cross that. I went further up the river and crossed Pont de Toncarville, which is only €2.60. So that I paid about a tenner or 11 euros in total to get to Caen. The hotel was near Junction 7 of the Ring Road, which was a great place called the Fast Hotel. It's got a secure car park with a sliding door. Sliding gate on it, so you can keep your motorbike there overnight or your car. It's safe. It's a nice place, and it's a budget hotel, so you don't have to spend a lot of money. And it's still got every room's got a shower and a toilet, etc. So I'm heading now on the motorway down towards Rennes, but I'm going to leave the motorway soon because I'm so early, and I'm going to then go on the A roads down towards Rennes, and after Rennes is a dual carriageway straight to Vannes, where my destination is. So I'll see you later. Bye-bye. Right, folks, I've stopped in a little town called Villedieu-les-Poêles, which literally means God's city of the saucepans. It's well known for making copper bells, and there's a lot of little shops here that sell things in copper, like saucepans, all sorts of gadgets. It's a very pretty little town, one of my favourites. I thought I'd just stop here on the way down. I'm off the motorway now, and there's a shop that sells copper goods. I'm going to actually stay on the old Route Nationale, the equivalent of our A roads now, down towards Rennes, because I'm very early, and personally you see far more of France, that's what I think anyway. Motorway's a motorway, you don't see much of France on that, so the Route Nationales are the way to go if you've got time on your hands. Now this is more like your classic French A road. There's nobody behind me and there's nobody in front of me. It's lovely. Beautiful old houses everywhere. This is why, just as in the UK, it's often a much nicer option to go on the smaller roads than the motorways. The motorways have got their advantages, you know, there's fuel, there's toilet stops every few miles, etc. But you can't beat this. The other thing I've noticed since they've built the motorways, because years ago, before they built the motorways here, I used to come on these A roads, and a lot of these towns now, a lot of the businesses have gone and closed down because nobody comes through them anymore. That's why the road's so empty. Everybody's on the motorway. It's a pity, but sadly that seems to be the way of the world. Here we are, approaching Vannes from the north on the N166 road. Vannes is one of my favourite places in the world. It's a fabulous medieval old town. The name comes on the Celtic tribe that used to live here, the Veneti, in Roman times. And its Welsh, its Breton name is Gwynedd, which sounds very, very Welsh to me. So I'm now going to visit my friend. He's moved house since I was here last time, so I've got to find this house for the first time. I've got a pretty good idea where I'm going. I know the town quite well. But like most large towns and cities, there's always a lot of building going on. Every time I come here, there's a new building, a new road network, just like everywhere else. And sadly, I haven't been here for 5 years. I had 2 years knocked off with COVID, and then 3 years rebuilding my house, so I didn't have any spare shekels to get here. This is my French family. All the youngsters call me uncle because I've been coming here for, I think, 46 years, which is wonderful. Et tout le monde dit bonjour. Salut! We just had a bottle of wine. It's actually from the French National Assembly. One of the guys here works in a garage in Paris, and he's obviously got some powerful customers, like the French equivalent of our MPs. So we've just been drinking a bottle of Morgon, which is I think a Beaujolais. I think it's a Beaujolais, which he's obviously had from an influential politician. And everybody's saying hello to me because they can see me filming. And this is Vannes, one of my favourite places in the whole world. It's a medieval city centre, surrounded by walls, and it's got a beautiful port, which hopefully I'll be able to film a bit later. So I'm just walking around Vannes with my best friend, Yves. There he is. Hi. He's been my friend, I think, for 46 years now, something like that. And this is his hometown. And if you come into France, to South Brittany, Vannes is a must, as you can see. This is the port of Vannes. I'm not sure if you can hear me with the wind noise. There's space here for 450 odd boats, and it goes right up to the gates of the old city. Well, it's Wednesday morning of my week away, and I'm leaving my friend's house today and heading up towards the Normandy Beaches. I'm going to work my way along from Pointe, which was a cliff the Americans tried to scale during the invasion, and heading eastwards towards little town of Ouistreham, where Brittany ferries actually have their ferry port. But it's a really pleasant sort of beach resort, so I've got a hotel right near the ferry port, in fact, that I've eaten at before, and it's really nice. So I'm going to amble up through France today and stop there tonight. And my plan then is to leave tomorrow and go on the A roads to Dieppe, book a hotel for tomorrow night, get the ferry back then at 11 o'clock Friday morning. Well, I've just driven up from Vannes and I've stopped at Pointe, which is sort of the beginning really of the D-Day beaches. And they've got pictures of the war heroes all the way along the road, which is really nice. And I just came across this one. His name is Islwyn Vaughan. I thought, oh, it's a Welsh name. And when I read it, he was Royal Navy and his nickname was Taffy, which is rather touching. So I'm just about to walk to the cliffs now, and I'll show you the view when I get there. These guys in front of me are from the Dutch Army. I don't know if you can read that from here, but 225 men started the raid on Pointe, and when they were relieved, only 90 effective fighting men remained. There's a monument here to the soldiers and the flowers. I'm now at Omaha Beach, which is the beach the Americans landed at, and that was meant to be the beach in Saving Private Ryan. So I'm just about to get out the car now. It's a bit windy, so you might not be able to hear the microphone if I'm outside, and I'll film the beach for you. It's quite an emotional experience, actually, when you see the names and the faces of the young men that fought here. In fact, they were most of them, I think, were boys, but incredible courage, absolutely amazing. Anyway, onwards and upwards. I'll take you out now and show you Omaha. And this is Omaha. It's a big beach. And as you would expect, there's lots of museums around here and memorials. And looking out of the sea today, you can hardly see a ship. I can imagine what it was like 78 years ago. I just came across this great statue. It says it all. Well folks, it's Thursday morning and I'm now at the very famous Pegasus Bridge. The structure you see there isn't actually the original bridge, that was replaced after the war. You probably know about Pegasus Bridge, but if you don't, there's a canal from the coastal town of Ouistreham to the big city of Caen. On the east side of that canal were a load of German panzers, and the west side was the British beach, Sword Beach. So to stop the tanks crossing the river over this bridge, a very brave British soldier led a bunch of other very brave British soldiers, Major John Howard, in gliders. These things, I mean, God, I think they landed around 90 miles an hour. I think a few fell in the sea. It was such a crazy mission. It's one of those things that was so crazy, it had to work. And I'm now on the field where the gliders landed, and you can see little stone pillars where the gliders actually landed, and there's a statue to Major Howard, and there's another one down there. They succeeded in taking the bridge, and opposite, let's just walk up there now, you can see a cafe, and that was the first house liberated in France. Let's have a look. I'll take a walk over there afterwards anyway. Let's zoom in on that. Yeah, that one there. And I believe the lady was a little girl at the time. I think she's actually still alive, the lady that runs the cafe. So I'm going to have a walk round and film some interesting stuff. Oh yeah, one other thing I wanted to say is that Rommel was in charge of the German troops at this time, and he had a look at this area and he could see it as a weakness. And the following day, after the raid on Pegasus Bridge, Rommel had planned to mine the field, which means the raid wouldn't have succeeded. So just by chance we got in just a day in time. The last time I was here was, I think, around 20 years ago, and there's a heck of a lot more cars here now. This tells you a little bit of information about Pegasus Bridge, so if you pause the video and you can zoom in on it and read the words. And this is Café Gondry. That's the name of the family, the first house liberated in France. Well, this is the beach at CABOURG. Normandy's got a fantastic coast full of sandy beaches, and if you have a look at the houses, that's a sort of traditional Norman style, even though these are, I guess, reproduction houses. The other thing I've noticed, great network of cycle paths here, but the French cyclists are as much as a pain as ours. You know, they jump the red lights, they go on the main road when there's a cycle track adjacent to it, all the stuff that gets our back up. I've seen quite a few British bikes here, visiting the usual places, the war memorials. But yeah, it's very pleasant here. I've never been to this part of France before, so I'm working my way up along the coast now to Deauville, which is, I think the French call it Paris by the sea. I think it's quite an upmarket resort because it's not that far from the capital. And I know a few people in the UK who've got aircraft who I think who sort of fly there for lunch too. Well, I'm now in Deauville, and it is, as I expected, very, very upmarket. There's hundreds of yachts here, and they're nice yachts. There's the casino. There's a long stretch of beach and absolutely amazing buildings here. It's beautiful here. I'm not sure I can afford to stop. Well, I decided to go for a bit of a plan B and come the scenic route home because I'm in no rush at all. I am now in a town called HONFLEUR, H-O-N-F-L-E-U-R, and it's opposite Le Havre on the south side of the River Seine, and it's a medieval town with lots of winding streets, which I'll film for you. It's a fantastic place. I came here 3 years ago on one of those New Year cruises with Brittany ferries, and it truly is a fantastic old town, one of the best that I've seen in France. So I'm going to have a mosey round now, probably get something to eat here for lunch, and then move up to my hotel near, or in Dieppe this afternoon. But I'll get some views of the old winding streets. It really is a great place. There are lots of shops like this here, things like art galleries, soap. Doesn't particularly interest me, but if you're ever here with your better half, I mean, I'm assuming I'm talking about ladies here, would probably like it more than men. It really is superb here. Another art gallery. And that beautiful building in front, believe it or not, is a public toilet. I've never seen anything like it. Must be like 1,000 years old. It's a bog. There we are. Well, I'm honestly running out of beautiful streets to film. There's so many here, but I thought getting back to motorcycling, which is what this channel's meant to be about. One of the things in France that you'll come across is a thing called priority to the right, priority à droite. It's a really strange, ridiculous system. It means when you're going along a main road, somebody can just pull out in front of you on the right from a side road and they have right of way. Same when you're going around a roundabout, you can be actually on the roundabout and somebody can pull out in front of you, their right of way. Most of France that I've seen doesn't have that system anymore. It's very rare to come across it. However, this morning, driving up from Ouistreham through Deauville, they're in all the little villages and even all the big towns. So be very, very careful. Be careful if you're in a car or a bike. The good news is the French are as wary of it as we are. So if you come to one of those junctions, 99% of people tend to stop and think, does the other person realise? However, there's always that 1%, so just be very, very aware of that. Time for lunch. This is my view from my restaurant table. I've never been one for chasing money. I don't care as long as I've got enough, but when I see some of these boats, that's a good reason to have more money there. Some of them are really nice. Well, I was very pleased with the hotel that I stayed in last night, and if you're coming over by car or by bike, I'd recommend it. It's got a nice safe car park. It's set back from the main road in a very quiet area. The car park's not even really visible from the road. Great food there. Excuse me. I know at the ferry port, and I'm going to get on my bloody hobby horse again. There's 1, 2, 3 gates, and only one of them is for the UK. All the others is for EU citizens, so I'm looking forward to queuing again. Dieppe, not a bad place actually. It's not somewhere I would actually come for a holiday because there's nicer resorts around here, but it's actually quite a nice town. So I don't want to do it any injustice. And also, if you're doing like a D-Day beach tour, in 1942 there was a raid on Dieppe by the Canadians, and they tried to scale the cliffs, and there's some quite big cliffs here. In fact, some behind me now. Let's turn around, see if you can see them. There's bigger ones on the other end of the beach, and sadly the Germans put up a good defence, and a lot of Canadians were killed or taken prisoner. But they did come back in '44 to relieve Dieppe from the occupation, and you see a lot of Canadian flags being flown around the town right now, which is great. They don't seem to forget the war in France. They always seem to remember the sacrifices that the Allies and the Free French made. Anyway, that's probably going to be my last video before I get back. I'm really early now at the ferry port. It's 8 o'clock, and the ferry leaves at 11. They want you here 2 hours before, but I was getting bored sitting around the hotel. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video and you had some good information from it if you're planning a trip to France, and I'll see you soon. Ta-ra for now.